Hey folks, Inclusive Model Designs here, and this is part 13 of the Tamiya 1350 scale Yamato Premium Edition build. So today we're looking at the number 3 turret. Now that's about a day's worth of work sitting here. It doesn't look like much, but trying to make sure I get all these pieces on correctly and in the right spot is definitely a challenge. And especially because each turret is different, and it does require some drilling. And when it comes to drilling holes, I want to make sure I get it absolutely right. And you don't want to be making that mistake, especially because there's no coming back from it. And so just do one turret at a time, and you shouldn't run into any problems, especially because with this ship here, the very front turret doesn't have any AA guns, second one does, and the third one does. And because we're working with the third one, it's important to note that it does warrant holes. And that's just because we're going to be doing some emplacements for the AA guns. And it does have some pilot holes, so you know exactly where to place the drill bit, so that was easy to do. And then moving on to the photo etch parts. See how this part curves right here? The photo etch parts actually have like a dummy line. I don't know if you can see it in the light. So you just want to make sure you line up that line to go along with that curve. So it's an easy thing to miss if you're not looking for it. Sometimes you might put that part on that side, and then all of a sudden this curved line is, you know, all of a sudden missed, if that makes any sense. So just something to consider when you're putting that photo etch part on. And of course that ladder, that was a bit tricky to do the fold and to get on straight, but we got it on. One thing I noticed too is, you know, because we're working with these here, these are all the same, so that was easy. As you can see, I painted the bottom in that dark color because I figured, you know, it might be cool to, you know, display this so we can lift this off, show people, you know, hey, look at the inside of the ship. But the more detail that seems to be going on this, as you can see, the more I'm starting to think once this thing is on, I don't think I'm going to be lifting this off much, because the more, you know, more I work with this, you know, the less placement I'm able to put my hand without touching some kind of photo etch part or detail. So I'm thinking the more detail I put on, the less I want to touch this thing. So I think once it's on the model, I don't think I'm going to be touching this thing. So I am going to paint these up just because, you know, we spent all the time and effort and money on the model kit. I'm not going to just, you know, say forget it on the detail. So I'm going to, you know, paint those up like normal, you know, give it the love it deserves, put it in place, and then that's where it's going to sit. So we're moving on to the, I guess the innards of the gun here, and these pieces here, they're a little bit tricky, just to make sure you get them right, because you are working with poly caps on the inside of these now, and each, I guess you would say, barrel holder. Each one of these requires 2 poly caps. The instructions can be a little on it. These require 2 each. And you're working with 3 pieces of plastic here. You're just basically taking 2 pieces of plastic, putting them together around the poly caps, and then putting a back plate on, which is right here. And then this little piece right here. So I guess it's 4 pieces of plastic in total, but this isn't really, you know, it's not really holding anything together. And then you're making a decision here whether you're going to use the metal barrel or the plastic barrel. Now this is the plastic barrel, of course, where you're actually putting this little end cap on, and this is what's going to simulate your hollow barrel. But in this case, we're actually going to be using the metal barrels, so we're going to have these pre-painted a little bit later on, and then implementing these. I'm not going to be painting the inside of this. There's no need. I know I just ranted on about, you know, spending all the money and time. However, because these are going to be moving parts and stuff like that, there's no real need for having this painted, because this is going to be completely 100% covered up, you know, inside that shell. And because we're going to be using glue and stuff inside there, as where that's going to be no glue, there's no need to have this painted, because it means it's going to be completely encapsulated inside there. So there's going to be no glue needed inside of there. And of course this piece moves. This little piece here moves. You will, however, have to paint the underside. That's a photo etched part. As you can see, this will require paint on the underside, even though there's more, you'll never see that as well, but that will require paint. And then this piece right here, what you're looking at, will fit on the inside of there, but some of the detail will stick out, as you can see right here. And I did that in the darker color as well, just to break up, you know, obviously the same color as we've been doing on the ship, you know, with different parts. I've been breaking up the color here and there between this color and then the hull color, just to, you know, break up the color a bit so it's not just one steady color. But once we get the barrels going, obviously what's going to happen, according to the instructions anyway, you're slipping it through the blast bags, and then you're slipping it right through into these pieces right here, which are being held by this. And it looks like you're going to be able to manipulate the barrels a little bit, which this is going to be attached to this, and then you see it down inside the ship, and it just kind of locks and moves like that. So you can display your turret in any direction. So I guess the long and short of it is, like, I know it doesn't look like much here, but this was a good day worth of work just because of the photo etch parts. I mean, this right here, that's about 1, 2, 3 parts per piece right there. I mean, just right there. I mean, like they've put it all, like, I mean, right there. So trying to get the ladder on without breaking it and those kind of things, like the photo etch is what probably takes the most time, and just making sure you're doing the right turret with the right parts, that kind of thing. So I didn't want to go too far without showing you. So the next video will actually probably be the completed turret with all the little pieces on it, and with probably the AA emplacements on, and we'll go from there. So just kind of wanted to show you where we're at with this, and didn't want you doing all the turrets at once, because I know I've showed you these, right? These are generic, as where the turrets are not. So anyway, there we go. There's part 13. I just wanted to show you where we're at with this, and it's coming along nicely. So thanks so much for watching. Again, please like, share, and subscribe, and I look forward to your comments as always, guys. So thanks so much. Have a good one. Bye.